It is late June. I should have just checked the date on my phone, but I forgot. And a week from now, we will be in Cancun, Mexico for a destination wedding. But normally on Sundays, I Uber in the morning, now that I'm semi-retired. But the weather's been so bad, it's been abominable, horrible and terrible. And so, I decided this morning, you know what? I'm going to ride the motorcycle, because I have been out on this thing only once the entire year. The entire year. And it's almost July, which is, of course, absurd. So here we go, and it's a beautiful day. It's 73 degrees roughly, and this guy's putting his brakes on. Okay, all right. Oh, a little white cat. Doggone it. Shoot. I'm sorry, kitty. And so it's a nice day for a change. Probably the worst 12 months or so of weather I've ever seen. Unrelenting bad weather. Constant rain. We set a record last year, 2018, for the wettest year ever. This year is a continuation, if not even worse. We had 2 3/4 inches of rain the other night. I mean, that's insane. There was flooding. I mean, it's just been horrendous. So, haven't gotten the motorcycle out much. As I said, this is only the second ride this year, and it's almost the 4th of July. In fact, by the time we get back from Cancun, in a little over a week, it will be the 4th of July. And on top of that, we haven't been able to use the pool where we live because of the weather. It's been not only very wet, but chilly, cooler than normal. We're not getting the usual kind of 80s, even high 70s that we would this time of year. Although this coming week looks more normal. So we'll see. This is one of my favorite roads. I used to live way north of here, like probably 35, 40 miles north of here, and I would come down here just to ride this road. One of the first rides I ever took on my 96 BMW R1100 RT, which I bought used in 97. That day, that first day I owned it, I brought it down here because it's just such a nice road. Some nice sweepers, usually lightly patrolled. You see a cop here and there, but not too many. And you can take it leisurely or you can push it hard. Either way, it's good. Speaking of motorcycles, let's go through some of them that I've owned over the years, and I'll kind of rate them. My current bike is a 2012 FJR 1300 Yamaha, and I have to say I probably rate it as the best bike I've ever owned, certainly in the top 3. And it's also been one of my favorites. Sometimes favorite and best don't match up completely. And I'll give you an example in just a second here. Of course, I want to pass pass this guy, so of course there's traffic coming the other way. The 96 RT was my favorite bike ever. I wouldn't say it was the best bike I've ever owned. It was my favorite because I love the looks of it. It handled the best of any bike I'd ever owned up to that time, and it still might be in the top two. You know, I look back on it now, the engine certainly was a little agricultural. That Boxer Twin, even though I love that engine, compared to the newer ones, and certainly an engine like this inline 4, not much comparison. The Beamer was not nearly as quick. It didn't have a particularly nice sound to it, but it worked. And it was a gorgeous bike, and it had a great luggage system, and mine at least was very reliable, although I only owned it for 2 years. So, you know, that's one of the issues. You know, when I look back on some of the decisions I've made, motorcycling-wise, I've made some pretty good ones, including buying that bike when I did. I was going through a divorce from my first wife, and I was very depressed. And I had a 93 Goldwing that I'd gotten as a 40th birthday present to myself and to her, because she liked to ride on the bike, but she wanted a comfortable bike. Now, one of the things you notice here, by the way, is when you go into different counties, how the road conditions change. We just came into a new county, and this road sucks now. A different county, and it sucks. And every time I got on that Goldwing, during and after the divorce, I thought of her, because she had been such an integral part of my life with that bike. And it kind of creeped me out. So one night I was sitting in my apartment looking at motorcycle magazines, which is pretty much all I did back then. And I saw that I was reading road tests on BMWs. And at that time, the new Boxer motor, I think it's called the Type 293 or 297, I don't remember which. But it was the new air oil-cooled 4-valve model. I think it came out in about 93 or so. And I was contemplating getting a new motorcycle. I started doing the math and realized that I could afford it. And it was like a giant thunderclap of loveliness went over on top of my head. The old electric light bulb moment, and I thought, whee! So, long story short, I traded the Goldwing, which was paid off. I traded it for the RT. That was the good news. The bad news was that 2 years later, which was 1999, I had gotten involved with somebody who would end up becoming my second wife. And although the RT was a good two-up bike, it wasn't a great two-up bike. And BMW had just introduced a new model, the K1200 LT, which was their super luxury tour. And it had a 1200cc inline water-cooled 4, of course, obviously shaft drive. And it was much bigger and heavier than the RT, and I thought it'd be a great two-up ride machine, which it was. It had a 6-CD changer, and it had a radio, and it had a lot of accoutrement that the RT did not have. The biggest problem, however, with it was that it was very heavy, top heavy. It was a real handful at low speeds. Once you were rolling, and particularly on the interstate, it was a fantastic bike. But getting it there was an adventure, particularly two up. So I kind of tired of it after a while. It was just a lot of work. It was luxurious. It handled beautifully. It was a nice looking bike. I loved the bike. And I put about, I think, 20,000 miles on it, and then decided to go with a GS. So the last few years, I've gone back and forth between adventure tours and sport tours. The GS was the first adventure tour I bought. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I didn't love it. It was the 1150. It had the 6-speed transmission, so it was a step up from the RT that I'd owned. But I just didn't love it. I really liked it, but I didn't love it. And then the rear drive unit crapped out on me, which was a very common problem for BMWs back then. Very common. Far too common. And at that time, I was an administrator and moderator at Adventure Rider, which is a huge adventure riding forum, the biggest in the world, I think. And so I was dialed into all the issues that were going on with BMW. And sure enough, mine crapped out on me right before I was supposed to go to a rally. The dealership that I worked with at the time was kind enough to loan me a brand new RT, the 1200 RT, to take to the rally, which was really nice of them. And they did fix the rear drive under warranty. I only had 1 week of warranty left. And they fixed it, but I lost confidence in the bike at that point. Let's get some gas. No, we're not going to get it for 265. That's too high. Screw that noise. Alrighty. This light's covered up. I don't know what the bed is here. Oh, okay. It's different. At that point, they had an ST1300 Honda on the floor. And I thought the price was a little high. They knocked $1,000 off it. Called me and said, would you be interested now? And I said, yes, that makes it much more interesting. That was a That was a 2005 ST1300, the red one, and it was a fantastic motorcycle. The V4 engine is still one of my favorites, if not I think it's probably the favorite engine I've ever owned. It made plenty of power. It was very smooth. It had an interesting tone to it, kind of a whistle. People have compared it to the Jetsons car from the old cartoon. It's a lot of fun. It was a great bike until I crashed it. Again, dumb things, dumb move. was going to a motorcycle rally in Wisconsin and was in Indiana and in a small town, the name of which escapes me. And was looking down at my instrument cluster, as I recall, having just left a stoplight, and I ran into a van that was turning left in front of me. And totaled the bike, and I got a great insurance settlement, but I ended up getting a V-Strom, a 2007 Suzuki DL1000 V-Strom. Put a really nice luggage system on it.